Robert Coffey and DeCourcy Wilson, Almaretto, LLC, Coffey's Butcher's Hill. This is at 32 North Chester Street. This is a Class D, beer, wine, and liquor. Application to transfer ownership and request for live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering.
Well, first of all, are they here?
I see if they're in the hallway. I saw the parties in the hallway.
Okay, see, who are we gonna get to?
She's gonna go get
She's going to go get them.
Call the next one in.
Okay. The second case is Richard Zhao and Raymond Zhao, Chuck Zhao, Zhao Brothers LLC, Brothers Sushi. This is located at 1035-37 South Charles Street. This is a Class D, beer, wine, and liquor. Request to add live entertainment.
Morning. Judge, members of the board, Vernon Gooser for the licensee who's right here on my right-hand side.
Well, Mr. Senator, welcome to Baltimore City.
Thank you, sir. I was down here many times when I was younger, and over the years, my son now, he's not happy, Judge, unless he's in court every day or going to a hearing someplace, and I'm happy when I'm not, because I've been here so many times, you know, I hate to say that.
All right, now, what we have here is a request to add live entertainment, karaoke, is that right?
That's correct, Judge.
And there's no opposition, is that correct?
No, in fact, I have a letter, which I'd like to give you copies of.
Yes.
From the Improvement Association, Federal Hill Improvement Association, in support of the request and requesting, and we signed the agreement which is attached to that, which says that our request will only be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 5 to 11 o'clock.
Okay, and this would be a part of the record, Exhibit 1.
Yep, I have
Mark
it.
it.
I just put it there right there.
All right, any questions of the commissioners of the council or his client?
No questions.
Any other evidence? All right, then I vote approval.
I do as well.
All right, good luck to you, Ms. Booth.
Thank you very much. It's always good to see you,
Good to
Judge.
see you.
Best of luck. Good to see you. And you need to step down here.
You already have a job.
All right, is the other parties here yet?
Okay.
Cocky here?
Yeah, they're outside and they're still
Still
working it
outside.
out, but I will do
Okay,
the next
call the
one.
next one in, Shannon.
Shannon Ganville, Loris Ganville, Ganville Inc., Glanville, trade name Glanvilles. This is at 4017-19 Eastern Avenue. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor, a review pending for more than 180 days.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Request an extension, because the repairs to the building were extensive.
Now, let's see, you got 180 days, and now you want another 60 days?
The building is done now, Your Honor. I put that request back in June the 3rd before the 180 days was up, but this is the earliest that they could get me into the schedule.
All right, swear the witnesses, please.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, and state your name for the record.
James Glanville.
And you're stating that today you want what?
Just, I heard the minimum request is 30 days, but the building is done now. Building is done.
Now, be clear, so I and the other commissioners
Yes.
know exactly what you want.
30 days.
30 days.
Yes, yeah.
And from when?
From today's date.
From today. All right, the commissioners have any questions?
Well, I noticed you have a young lady with you who looks like she's really too young to be working, but is she working on the construction? Because she has a broken arm, it looks
I have a
like.
couple. She's a hard worker. I had a couple pictures of her working at the building.
Well, 30 days, but no child labor.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
All right, 30-day extension from today is granted. I vote that way.
Yes, same.
Agreed. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
The next one is Michael Fellner, Pigtown Ale House. This is trade name Pigtown Ale House. This is located at 1415 Washington Boulevard. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Review of a transfer that was pending more than 180
Stop.
days.
Let's see if they're here.
Are they here?
Well,
We
ask-
have a letter of support in the file, Chair, from
There's no
the,
point in going
yeah.
anywhere unless we have the parties here.
okay?
Have anybody to go out and ask everybody to come in so we can complete the docket. Ask them to come in regardless.
Where, do you want, that was the last case? That's the last case.
I just still on the record with that one, so it should be off the record.
Would you like to go off the record, sir? We're going to go off the record for now,
Yeah,
or off the record.
sure. I have no objection.
Okay.
You should have loaded or something.
I know. Well, we didn't have as many. We've been working through a lot of this stuff. Hi. We're going to call you for it and right now, then. We're going to reread it on the docket.
Which case are you?
This is the first one.
First one?
32 North Chester.
What are you
Cocky?
gonna do about 1415 Washington Boulevard?
I think that we'll have to come back to it. Can we give the, can you give the people a call for me, 1415? And then we'll go back on, we're going to go back on the record and we're going to go back to the first one. And I'll read that into the record again. Okay. This is the case Robert Cocky, DeCourcy Wilson, Amaretto, LLC. This is Cocky's Butcher Hill, 32 North Chester Street. This is a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for transfer of ownership, a request for live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering.
Abraham Hurdle for the licensee. I'd like to apologize very quickly. My client, the licensee, and DeCourcy Wilson, so DeCourcy Wilson and Rob Cocky, both apparently got a 1 o'clock or 1:30 hearing time stuck in their mind. So they're running just a little bit behind, which is causing the delay. I'm comfortable going forward without them if the attorney for the Butchers Hill Association is.
Susan Hughes on behalf of the Butchers Hill Association, and we don't have any objections other than signing an agreement. They aren't here to sign it.
Yeah, well, and I
Okay,
can-
well, then we'll make whatever we do subject to their signing it.
Excellent.
All right, then what you are requesting is transfer of ownership,
That's correct.
32 North Chester Street, and a request for live entertainment, an outdoor table service, and off-premise catering. You met with the community and have a memorandum of understanding.
That's correct.
And Ms. Hughes, what is that? Tell who you are and what the memorandum is.
Susan Hughes on behalf of the Butchers Hill Association, and the memorandum of understanding is between the Butchers Hill Association and the liquor licensees of 32 North Chester Street.
I have copies of the MOU if anyone would like to see it, just so they make it in the file. Again, they're unsigned at the moment, but I'm happy to confirm that my client will be signing them.
Okay.
I also have some petitions in support from local residents indicating that they would like the licensed location in the area.
All right. Exhibit 1 for the memorandum of understanding. Exhibit 2 for the,
That's fine.
whatever this is.
This signatures, petitions.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Hughes. You want to say anything? You want to tell us what it is or what?
Do you want me to read it? I'll read it.
No, I don't want you to read it. Just give me a brief.
It is a memorandum of understanding.
And what does it say with respect to the request that they asked for live entertainment?
Stating that Butchers Hill Association supports the license applicant's request for this transfer.
And the outdoor tables?
I can address these if you'd like
All
very
right, go
quickly.
ahead.
Outdoor table service, they said yes, there are hours restrictions on MOU. The licensee agrees to them. With regards to live entertainment, there will be no live entertainment of any kind according to both zoning and liquor board rules. With regards to alcohol service, there are hours restrictions in the AM. There isn't a term in here that allow that to go back to the 6 a.m. term or 6 a.m. time slot, assuming they have 6 months from when they open, 180 days actually, from when they actually open their doors as opposed to today. Assuming that the community agrees, there's specific language in here.
And how about off-premise catering?
There's no off-premise catering. They're comfortable not pursuing that, and I don't believe there's any they have any desire to do that. The licensee, his father, actually is also a licensee at a place in, I'd like to call it, I guess, Upper Fells Point, a very kind of well-run establishment, and they can do the catering there. So there's no reason to have the two locations both be able to do catering.
Is that what your understanding is?
That's my understanding, yes.
All right, do you have any other people that you wish to testify or say anything?
I have the president of the association here, if she would like to say a few words. That would
Wish
be
to
fine.
say anything?
Just that we're looking
Well,
forward.
because if you do, I want to swear you in.
Oh,
Yeah, what,
I swear the witness.
Raise your right hands, please, both of you. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name, ma'am?
Beth Braun,
Be- I-
Beth Braun, B-R-A-U-N.
All right, Ms. Braun, what did you want to say?
We
And you're
are
president of?
the Butchers Hill Association,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, ma'am.
and we look forward to Cocky's Butchers Hill opening in our neighborhood.
Good. It's always nice to have everybody in agreement.
And just one other point, the petition has 200 signatures, and I believe that there are 200 people that do want this bar in the neighborhood, but only 56 or 58, I don't remember, actually reside in Butchers Hill, in the district that is Butchers Hill.
That's so often true.
I'm sure that
Our,
those 56
our fellow
people-
commissioner pointed out one time that they circulated a petition around the law firm.
That wasn't us. That was a different lawyer, just for the record. We're much more honest than
All
that.
right, did you have anything else you wish to say?
No, sir.
Excuse me. Anybody else wish to say anything?
No?
Ready for a decision? All right, I vote yes, and subject to the MOS, which will be signed, and upon official signing of that, it will be placed in the record. And you want these back?
No, those are copies that you can have. I have several extra copies. I just wanted to make sure that, my goal was to give everyone on the board a copy that was signed. Unfortunately, my client did not get here in time.
So you have.
I have extra
enough
copies, absolutely.
to get them,
Absolutely.
put them in the record.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I vote approval. The commissioners?
I vote yes, as long as they don't violate any zoning regulations.
okay, and I'm yes, so long as the, subject to signature of the MOU.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we have the other parties here yet?
Actually, we have a request that I probably wasn't aware of, that I probably should have been aware of, that they asked to be rescheduled, and I must have gotten that confused to the 21st. So the last item, I'm asking for that to be continued to the 21st of August, sir.
Read it in the record.
Is that,
Yeah, let me read that into the record. That is the fourth one, which is Michael Fellner, Pigtown Ale House, TA Pigtown Ale House, that's at 1415 Washington Boulevard. It's Class BD7, and this is a review of a pending transfer for more than 180 days. I'm asking that the board move this to August the 21st agenda, because we'll be in recess both on the 14th.
Okay, here.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll stay in recess till 1 o'clock.
goodness. Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
Okay, folks, we're in recess.
So that he knows we're close. Yeah.
Oh, real? Oh.
License Commissioners meeting for Thursday, August 7th, 2014. The first item on the docket is Donald Owens, Mombi Inc.
The officer's not here yet, he's coming up too, so.
Okay.
Okay, call a second one.
Okay, all right. Well, then, the second item on the agenda is Byung Wook An and Patrick Min, ACA Liquors. This is a trade name Eric's 500. This is at 500 East North Avenue. This is a BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of 401A. No licensee shall furnish alcoholic beverages to any person under 21 years of age, or to any person with the knowledge that this person is purchasing or acquiring such beverage for the consumption of any person under 21 years of age. This is regarding an April 4th incident where alcohol was sold to an underage police officer cadet.
All right, now, this is a violation of 4.01A, underage drinking. And are you with this case? Yes. Come on up. And swear to all the witnesses.
Do Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. I do.
All right, officer, state your name for the record.
Detective Abraham Gatto,
And how do you spell your last name?
G-A-T-T-O.
And directing your attention to April 4th, 2014, did you have occasion to go to 500 East North Avenue?
Yes, sir.
And what, if anything, did you say and do at that time?
At the time, we were utilizing Cadet Gregory McCoy. We sent Mr. McCoy into the aforementioned location to buy a New Amsterdam drink from the employee. He met Mr. Jikwon Randy June. He paid the amount of $7.62 out of a $20 bill. Mr. June accepted the $20 bill and returned change to Mr. McCoy along with the New Amsterdam bottle of alcohol. At no time was Cadet McCoy questioned for his identification. Once Cadet McCoy received the alcohol, he then notified our unit, our team, which was outside of the location. We went inside the location. The $20 bill that was copied beforehand was recovered by Sergeant Leisher, who was present here in the courtroom.
That's you?
He just walked
He
out.
was sitting right there.
Also, the defendant's not here either, so.
That's too bad. They should be on time. Go ahead, is there anything else?
The New Amsterdam alcohol was returned back to Mr. June, and we left the location.
Okay. Any questions, commissioners?
None.
No questions.
All right. So produce your next witness.
Mr. Cadet Gregory McCoy.
All right, state your name. First of all, swear witness.
My last
Have you
name,
been sworn?
say that one more
Have
time.
you been sworn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and state your name.
Gregory McCoy, sir.
And state your assignment.
I'm a cadet, sir, that was assigned to go into the liquor store to perform beyond the age liquor buy, sir.
All right, and talk loud enough for everybody to hear you, and tell us what you have to say about what happened, if anything, on April 4th, 2014, at 500 East North Avenue.
Okay, sir. On that day, April 4th, 2014, I went into the establishment of 500 East North Avenue, sir, to ACA liquor store.
What time?
Liquor store, and.
What time did you go in?
Oh, around 8 o'clock, sir.
8 a.m.?
8 p.m., sir.
8 p.m.,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
and what if anything occurred?
I went in, just simply went up to the window and asked to purchase a New Amsterdam. Which
Is
caused?
this a packaged liquor?
No, sir. It was a bottle. It was a bottle.
Okay. And go ahead.
And no identification was asked for, and he proceeded to go through with the transaction, and that was pretty much it when I paid with the departmental $20 bill.
Now, how old were you at that time?
I was 20, sir.
20.
Yes, sir.
All right. Nobody here to ask you questions. All
I
right.
want to ask one.
Go
You
ahead.
say you gave him the $20 bill. Did he give you the merchandise?
He
What was it?
What happened was he was going to grab the item that I asked for, which is the New Amsterdam liquor, and as he gave it, he was ringing it up, and he told me the price, which was $7.26. I put the $20 bill into the little window thing that they have, and then we made the transaction, and I walked out with the liquor store with the liquor.
And
Had
what
to
did you do with the liquor that you purchased?
Liquor. What I did with it was I walked out of the liquor store, informed my guys that I had it, and then they came in and proceeded
Well, who'd
to
you
do.
give it to?
I gave it to it was either Detective Abe or Sergeant Leisher, and then they proceeded with the proper protocol.
All right. Any questions, commissioners?
None.
All right. Any other witnesses?
No, sir.
All right. You may step down.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And there's defendants. The licensee is not here today, and therefore we'll go ahead with the decision. You have a previous violation, I noted, $500 violation of Rule 4.18. What is 4.18?
4.18, I believe, is alteration, as I understand.
is what?
I think it's, I was looking for support on this one. I believe that is, that's alterations to a premises. So if the premises wasn't in the right, that you altered a wall or you moved something around.
All right. I vote $500 fine with costs. Commissioners?
I agree.
I agree. Wait.
But wait,
That's adult.
One clarification I need.
That's adult.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get clarification on what the prior fine was about?
I believe it's 4.8 is alterations, but let me make sure that I usually have a rule book in front of me, and let me make sure I'm not.
I think that's the one I didn't bring.
Yeah, for you to cooperate with some other things also.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Hold on. Do you have the file? Okay. What's the card say?
Come on, folks, come on.
I'm sorry. Hold on. It's actually, if I'm looking at the correct card, it's 4.10 sale to minors. Excuse me.
Well, that's not what's,
That's written there. I know that on the card it actually has on 10/4/2012.
is 4 point,
Is
what?
it 4.10 or 4.18?
4.18 is alterations.
No, what is the?
On the card, I'm sorry, Chair, on the card, which I'm reading, it is actually says 4.10A, which is sales to minor, $500 in the hearing.
Going too fast. 4.1, did you say?
01A, the same,
01A.
yes.
All right, and
This-
what is that chart?
That's the same as this one, sales to minors.
Sale to minors. Mr. Jones has to bail me out since I've already voted.
All right, since that's the
Second.
second offense, I think 500 is not enough. I would like to do it, and the way we've been doing is $1,500 plus cost. That's my decision.
I agree.
Yes, and I have no objection to your countering my decision, but since I've already voted. So 2-1, $1,500 fine, plus cost, and what are they,
125, so 1625.
All right, thank you, officers, you're excused. All right, now call the next case.
I was going to go back to the first case. The first case is Donald Owens, Moby TLC Inc., trade name Club Buns. This is at 606-08 West Lexington Street, Baltimore. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor, adult entertainment. This is a violation of Rule 3.12. Are they here?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that, I was out in the hall.
So this is a violation of 3.12. Licensees shall operate their establishment in such a manner to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, quiet, welfare, and general of the community. This is regarding a May 15th, 2014, Lit Police and Liquor Board inspector witnessed a fight outside of the club. This is also a violation of Rule 3.02. Licensees shall cooperate with representatives of the board and members of the police department, health department, building engineer's office, grand jury, and representatives of other organizations whenever such persons are on official business. This is again regarding May 15th, 2014. The DJ did not take heed of officers' instructions to be warned on the possibility of being arrested.
All right, enter your pairs, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensee. Donald Owens is to my immediate right, and his brother, the manager, Renald Dana Owens, is to his right.
All right, swear all witnesses, please.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
All right, Detective Greenhill, did you have occasion to go on May 15th, it looks like here? Is that the correct date?
Yes, sir.
To 60608 West Lexington Street. Is that true or not true?
With the date, yes, May 15th. Yeah, that's correct.
And what, if anything, did you see and do?
On that date at 1 a.m., your writer of SES Vice was driving in the area of Green Street in Lexington and observed 5 to 6 patrol vehicles from Central District at the location of 606 through 08 West Lexington Street, known as Club Buns. Your writer observed several officers surrounding 2 suspects suspected of engaging into a fight at the club. Your writer stopped to provide further assistance to officers on the scene.
Talk slowly and loudly. I couldn't understand what you said.
All right.
Something about you altered, saw 2 suspects, what? Take it easy.
Your writer observed several officers surrounding 2 suspects suspected of engaging into a fight at the club. You got that?
Go ahead, sir.
All right. Your writer stopped to provide further assistance to the officers on the scene. At that time, one of the officers advised your writer that they had
Overruled. Go ahead.
responded to the location of 606 through 08 West Lexington Street for a call of a fight in front of the club. Outside the club was night manager Mr. Derek Coles, who was in full operation control of the premises. Officers on the scene advised they received information from operators of the City Watch video system, advising during one incident persons were observed entering.
Continuing exception, Your Honor.
You may have a continuing exception.
And exiting club buttons and engaging in fights outside the club. Police units responded, broke up the fight, and left the scene. Again, a second fight was observed by way of City Watch video systems. Police were called, and again, the fight was broken up.
This is before you got there.
This is before I got there. Police units then stayed on the scene in an attempt to prevent further fights. Your writer, seeing that the establishment had approximately 30 minutes to an hour to operate, made a decision to shut club buttons down for the night for public safety, for the patrons inside the club as well as passerbys in the area. Your writer advised Mr. Coles to shut down for the night. He then retreated inside the club and made an attempt to announce the closure of the club. Minutes later, your writer entered inside the club, inside the establishment, to gain liquor license information.
You entered inside the club and what? And what did you say?
Okay. Minutes later, your writer, Detective Greenhill, myself, entered inside the establishment to gain liquor license information and found 5 to 10 persons throughout the establishment still consuming alcoholic beverages and engaging in bar activities. A DJ could be heard playing music, speaking, and shouting through a microphone as if the establishment continue operating in its normal capacity. Your writer, seeing that the club wasn't closing as promptly as I instructed the night manager, Mr. Coles, to do, made an announcement to the club patrons that the club was being closed. The DJ, later identified as Torrance Santos, who is a possible family member to licensee Donald C. Owens, seemed to ignore your writer's instructions concerning the closure of the establishment. I then advised Mr. Santos shut the music down, and failure to do so would result in his arrest. Mr. Santos complied with your writer's instructions, but was not happy with the closure. Mr. Santos began arguing and cursing and shouting about what fight, at one point arguing and cursing towards officers inside the club as well as outside the club.
All right, now, the officers, are you including yourself there?
I'm including myself as well as other Central District officers that are not here, but that were on the scene that night.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
You said they were cursing. He was cursing.
Yes.
You and other officers. Did you witness the other officers being cursed at that time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what are you talking about cursing?
Basically, words like, you want me to say the words?
Hmm?
You want me to say the words?
Well, you can use initials if you want.
He had used words in like S for shit, or other cuss words that he was upset for the fact that he was closing.
Now, I think my point of my question is, were they cursing you and the officers, or was he just making?
I think he was just cursing over the fact that he had to close.
He was angry.
Angry with the fact
that it
that
wasn't directed personally.
It wasn't. I didn't take it personally.
Okay, go ahead.
Correct. All right.
All right, go ahead. What else?
All right.
He was cursing and so forth, and what happened?
All right. I mean, just bear with me. Okay, at one point, arguing and cursing towards officers inside the club as well as outside the club. Mr. Donald C. Owens later arrived on the scene and questioned your writer as to why the establishment was being closed.
All right, now, who's Mr. Owens?
I'm the licensee. But
that's all right. I'm going to ask him. You'll get a chance to talk.
The person I identified that as Mr. Owens that arrived was the gentleman to the end with the glasses.
Okay. And who is he? Who was he? Did you know who he was?
To me, I know him as Dana Owens.
But is he the owner or the manager or what?
Whenever I see him, he's the manager.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Mr. Owens, Mr. Donald C. Owens later arrived on scene. Okay. I further advise for the public safety of patrons inside the club as well as passerbys outside the club, your rider closed the establishment. Your rider requested the assistance of Inspector Karen Brooks, who just happened to be riding with your rider, to speak to the licensee. Mr. Owens personally, to speak to the licensee, Mr. Owens personally.
Say that again?
Basically, the Inspector Karen Brooks, who was riding with me that night, I asked her to come speak to Mr. Owens personally.
Okay.
All right.
And what happened?
Inspector Brooks talked to Mr. Owens concerning the closure of his establishment. Once the investigation was concluded, the establishment was left in the control of Mr. Owens. Further investigation, your rider seeked evidence from the City Watch camera system, which is right here, for 606 through 08 West Election Street. Furthermore, your rider is...
Did you watch the film?
I didn't get a chance to watch
So
the
you
film.
don't know what's on it?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
And report to be forwarded to the liquor board. That's
And what?
the report forwarded to the liquor board.
Now, is that do you have any other testimony?
No, sir.
Now, during this period, when you ordered the bar closed, you were outside, is that right?
That's correct.
And then you went inside.
Yes.
And then who did you tell inside that the bar had to be closed?
There was a manager on the scene by the name of Mr. Coles.
All right, did he listen to you?
To my knowledge, he listened to me outside, but then when he retreated out inside, the bar was still going on, and I could still hear music going on. So it was unclear to me that once he went back inside, I don't think he really took it into.
My point is, did the people inside the bar know that you had ordered the bar closed?
No.
They did not?
Not until I went inside.
All right. Now, after you went inside, what, if anything, did you say with respect to the closure of the bar?
I just advised that the bar would be closed and told the DJ to shut the music
Now,
down.
who could hear you say that?
Everyone in the bar, including
All right.
the DJ.
And did they listen to you?
At that time, they did.
Okay. So what, if anything, occurred that was in a contrary to your instructions while you were in the bar?
Other than the fact that the DJ was upset and angry over the fact that he was closing.
But he wasn't directing it at you?
No, he wasn't directed at me.
Okay. Now, the people outside, when you arrived on the scene, there was no fight. Is that correct?
That's correct.
No. All right. Questions, commissioners?
Yes. When you instructed Mr. Cole, who you say was managing the club from the outside to close the establishment down, what was the time frame from the time of your instructions to the time you decided to go inside to check?
I would say within a couple minutes, immediately. He just retreated inside, and I'd stayed outside for a few minutes.
Did you lock anyone up that night?
No.
Commissioner?
So,
Anybody else?
just so I'm clear, you were outside, and while you were outside, you told Mr. Coles, shut it down.
Correct.
Mr. Coles then went inside.
Correct.
And you stayed outside.
Yes.
And you were taking care of some other business while you were outside.
Correct.
You could hear the music continuing once Mr. Coles went inside.
That's correct.
And the music didn't stop. Because you went inside and the music was still playing.
Correct.
And when you went inside, people were still sitting at tables and consuming and conversating, or conversing.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
So when you went inside, did it appear that it was business as usual?
Yes, ma'am.
The music had not stopped.
That's correct.
The conversations continued.
Yes, ma'am.
Consumption was continuing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Previs?
Thank you. Detective Greenhill, on the night in question, you were riding with Liquor Inspector Karen Brooks, visiting sites that had not picked up their 2014 liquor licenses, is that correct?
Some of that, yes.
Okay, and you just happened to be driving by Club Barnes on the scene?
Yes, sir.
You weren't called to the establishment?
No, sir.
You saw police officers enter?
Yes, sir.
Do you specifically recall seeing any civilians who were being questioned or arrested?
I saw two civilians sitting on the curb.
And were they in custody?
Not at that time.
Were they arrested?
No, I don't believe so.
Do you you know their names?
No, sir.
Do you know the officers' names who were there?
Not offhand, sir.
And you didn't put them in your report, is that correct?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, you said you brought the tape of the blue light camera? If I may use shorthand, the Baltimore City Watch. Video tape is referred to as blue light camera, is that correct?
I believe so, sir.
Okay. And you said you got a recording of that evening?
Yes, sir.
And you haven't watched it?
I haven't watched it.
Okay. So you don't know what type of fight occurred that evening personally?
No, sir.
Only what you were told by the unnamed, in the report, police officers who were told by unnamed officers watching the City Watch camera?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, when you got there, was there a fight going on?
No, not at that time.
Were there people gathering outside other
There
than police
were a
officers?
few people gathering outside.
Were they from the bar?
It was unclear to say.
Okay, so then when you went into the bar, there were about 5 to 10 patrons, you said in your report?
Yes, sir.
Were they acting disorderly?
No, sir.
They were acting in an appropriate manner as people would do inside of a bar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was a DJ playing?
Yes, sir.
And the DJ was playing music?
Yes, sir.
How were you dressed that evening?
I was dressed in a typical rain vest with my badge displayed.
With your badge displayed as it is now?
As it is now.
And did the vest go over top of where your shirt would be if you were
Yes,
had it
if I
on
was
today?
I would be wearing a police vest. It's basically a tactical carrier that has the word police on the front of it.
Okay, and did you have any kind of coat on top of that?
Can't recall, sir.
Okay. All right, so you said you went into the establishment and the manager was very cooperative with you.
Mr. Coles were.
Mr. Coles, but the DJ was not.
No, he wasn't.
Okay, and where was the DJ standing and where were you standing when your first command to the DJ?
I was standing towards once you come into the bar, and there's a bar, the bar sits directly in front of that. The DJ booth sits like in the corner to the left, and I was standing in front of the bar where other patrons could hear me as well as the DJ.
How many feet from the DJ?
I would say less than 2 to 3 feet.
When music was playing?
Yes.
Was it loud?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you say?
I just said, you may have attention, please. The bar is now closed.
What about before that? You said that he didn't pay attention to you.
Before that, I left it up to the manager, Mr. Coles, to close the bar.
Okay, you didn't say anything before that?
No.
Okay, so the first thing that you said to the DJ was, you didn't say it to the DJ.
I didn't
you
say it to the DJ, I
patrons.
said it to the bar and the patrons.
This place is now closed.
Correct.
Okay, and what is the stated basis of the closure in your report?
Stated basis for safety and concerns of the public as well as the people inside the bar.
Okay, and when you were in there were 5 to 10 people acting in an orderly fashion?
In an orderly fashion.
Okay, and it's not a crime scene?
It's not a crime scene.
It wasn't roped off as a crime scene?
No, sir.
And there was no riot going on when you were there?
No, sir.
So you're basing this decision to close an establishment on what?
On public safety.
Public safety, okay. Prior to any hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Did you use any foul language that night?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, anybody else have questions of this officer, the commissioners? None?
I
All
don't,
right.
no.
Any other witnesses? All right, Mr. Biggers, you're on.
Thank you. I subpoenaed Inspector Brooks.
And do we have a response?
Yes, Chair, Inspector Brooks is on family medical leave, and she is not coming back to the office until at least mid-October, so she was unable to make today's hearing.
You just subpoenaed a day or so ago.
It was sent on Friday, as I understand, it was received
Right.
Friday.
Anything else?
That. I'd like to make a motion at this time, Your Honor. Two things. One is with regard to the two charges.
Two charges?
Rule 3.12, license,
Wait a minute, let me review them.
thank you, sir.
Board inspectors witness fights out the club, outside the club, 3.12.
Right.
Motion granted, go ahead.
And 3.02, licensees shall cooperate with the representatives of the board, members of the police department, et cetera. May 15th, DJ did not take heed of officer's instruction and had to be warned with the possibility of being arrested.
Motion denied.
Okay? Thank you. I call Mr. Santos?
Has he been sworn?
I don't believe so.
Swear the witness.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name for the record.
Santos.
You're on, Mr. Ryu.
Spell your name for the court
T-E
reporter.
R-R-E-N-C-E. Last name Santos, S-A-N-T-O-S.
And Mr. Santos, where do you live?
608 West Lexington.
You live near the licensed premises?
Yes.
Okay. And are you any relation to the licensee or the manager?
No.
Okay. And do you work at the establishment?
Yes.
And what is your occupation?
DJ.
And
Disc
how long?
jockey.
Disc jockey. How long have you been working there?
About 13 years, probably.
And how old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay. Now, do you recall the night in question on May 16 of 2014?
Yes.
All right. And did you observe any fights or altercations prior to Detective Greenhill coming in?
Not inside the club, no.
Okay. Now, with regard to, do you recall Detective Greenhill coming in?
No, not at once. Not when he first came in, no.
Okay. Well, at what point did you observe Detective Greenhill?
After I cut the music off and walked out to the floor.
Okay. And so did you know that the Detective Greenhill had asked that the club be closed?
No.
When did you first become aware of that fact?
After the police officer came in, it was a uniformed police officer who came in, and I proceeded to cut the music down, but the manager had told me to go ahead and cut the music off.
Okay, so it wasn't your observation of Detective Greenhill, it was the observation of a uniformed police officer?
Yes.
And that officer asked you to cut the music down?
Yes.
And you did so?
Yes.
All right, and then the manager also told you to cut the music down?
Yes.
And what happened next?
The Detective Greenhill came to the middle of the floor towards the DJ booth and told me cut the goddamn music off.
Okay.
And I didn't know who he was, so I didn't cut the music off.
All right, but you
At
said
that
you'd
time.
already, so this was before you cut the
This was
music off?
before the music cut. Yeah, this is before.
Okay. Did you know that he was a police officer?
No.
Why not?
He was in regular clothes or whatever. I didn't see no badge or nothing.
Okay. What's the lighting inside the club at that point?
It's kind of dim. It's dark in there.
Okay.
It's not really that much light in there.
And how many feet away was Detective Greenhill for you?
About good 25 feet.
Okay. And he said cut the GD music off?
Yes.
Who did you think he was?
A customer telling me cut the music off.
Okay. So you didn't think that he had the authority to tell you to cut the music off?
No.
All right. And then was it right after that a uniformed police officer came to you?
I seen him come from behind the wall, because it's a wall at the door when you first come in. So when I seen him come behind the wall, and he was coming towards me.
The uniformed officer?
Yes.
Okay. And that officer then told you to cut the music off?
Yes.
And you did so?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you protest that after you cut the music off?
I kind of, sort of, yes.
Okay. And what did you say or do?
I asked him what was going on. I asked the officer what was the problem, what was going on, and he asked for my ID.
Which officer? This officer
no,
or the uniformed
the uniform officer.
Okay. And did you show him your ID?
Yes.
Okay. And were you told what was going on, other than the place was being closed?
No.
Okay. And what time was this?
This was about, I believe, around probably 1, somewhere a little after 1.
A little after 1 a.m.? And the closing time for this establishment is 2?
Well, 1:45. We normally
Okay.
close on that time.
All right. So your bottom line is you didn't listen to Detective Greenhill because you didn't think he was a police officer? Okay. Thank you. I have no questions. Board member
Questions?
I want to understand the sequence of events. Did I understand you to say that your manager told you to turn the music off, and you saw Detective Greenhill after that?
After, yeah, no, the manager was coming in and the police officer was coming in with him. They was together as they was walking through the door, and the manager was telling me to cut the music off at the same time the police were.
At
And
the
that's when I
same
cut-
time?
Yes.
Okay, so Detective Greenhill had been in first?
He'd been in before him. He came in before him to tell me to cut the music off, but I didn't recognize who he was. I didn't know, so. And then that's when the manager and the police was coming towards me.
Came in after him. Now, did the manager come in first
Well-
and tell you, hey, look, we got a problem, turn the music off, clear this place out?
Yes, it was
That
similar to
happened,
that. It
right?
was similar
Did that
to that,
happen?
yes.
Did that happen?
Yes.
Yes. And then Detective Greenhill came in and told you, cut the music off, and you didn't recognize him as a police officer, so you kept playing, is that right?
He came in before the manager. and
Okay,
then-
he came in before the manager.
Yes,
And then, because that's not consistent with his testimony, you understand that, right? Because you were sitting out there and you heard his
Yes.
testimony.
right.
And the two can't be right, because the manager couldn't be in two places at the same time.
Right, so what I'm saying, he came in first. I seen him first.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, when he
Okay.
came over, I didn't know who he was. He didn't even come all the way to the DJ booth. The DJ booth sat way in the back of the club. He was like near the front door. That's why I said a good 25 feet away from the booth. When I see somebody waving, telling me, screaming at me, telling me cut the music off, I don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
After
Okay.
that, the manager and the police came from around the wall.
Okay. Now, before Detective Greenhill came in, had anyone else come in before him and told you, turn the music off?
Not that I know of.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you?
I
Yeah.
mean, no one came to me and
You
told me
would
to cut
know.
the music off because the music was playing.
Okay, so no one came to you and said, look, turn it off.
No,
Turn it off right now.
not before him, no.
No one from management said, we got a problem, cut it.
No.
That never happened. So, and the testimony about that is just not consistent with what you recall. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
No, Your Honor.
All right, any other witnesses?
Yes, Renaud Dana Owens.
Come forth, please, whoever the witness is. State your name, please.
And you've been sworn, Mr. Owen? And you are the manager of Club Buns? Okay, just to clear the report, your brother is Donald? And Donald, you came down that evening, not Donald, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and did you have, when you got there, what did you observe?
When I got there,
Keep your voice up.
when I got there, I observed the Baltimore City Central Police were still sitting around. They had abated whatever the situation was there. Then when I went inside the door, I saw Detective Greenhill.
And do you know Detective Greenhill?
I know him from several visits.
Okay.
And I spoke to him, asked him what was going on, and he says, I'm shutting you down.
Okay.
And of course, my response was, for what? And he said, my officers don't have time to be coming out here to this place. There's been 2 fights or whatever. And I just want you to shut down. And I says, well, if you're gonna shut me down, can you call the duty chief, duty officer, who normally is the person who would assess the situation and shut the place down, or any business. And Detective Greenhill said to me, I have the authority to do that. And the duty chief won't do anything but call me to come down here and make that decision. And again, from my experience, 30 years, there has been a situation once where Major Bailey made that decision. And my chief security person asked him to call the duty chief. The duty chief came out and assessed the situation and said no. And at that point,
Are we talking about this case right
no,
now?
he's
I'm
talking
just saying
about
from an
his prior
experience, right, of
understanding.
shutting it down.
Move on. Tell us
Okay.
about what happened the rest of that night.
And then he says, okay, well, I have somebody from the liquor board in my car up the street or something. And he said, I'm going to get her. So he went and got Karen Brooks. She came down and spoke to me, and she says, I don't know what's going on, Dana. She says, but it's 1:30. Just to alleviate all this, just go ahead and shut down, close down if you want. And that's basically what I did.
Okay.
And she also said, along with Detective Green, this will not be a reported incident. And I said, fine, then I'll close.
Okay. No further questions.
Any questions, Commissioners?
Mr. Detective, just want to have your comment on the last remark made by him.
About the not being a reported incident?
Yes.
As far as Karen Brooks, it might not be a reported incident on her end as far as the liquor board. But as far as the police department, any type of acts of violence that happens at these bars, we have to report on it.
Any other questions? Any other objections?
No, Your Honor. Renew the motion and just on the facts, Your Honor. The licensee shall cooperate. I don't think that goes to the level of a DJ. Certainly a DJ should be polite and cooperative, but I don't know that he's within the ambit of the rule. In any event, the DJ did explain that he didn't realize that Detective Greenhill was an officer, and when a uniformed officer told him what to do, that he did it. And I believe that is cooperation. He should be found not guilty.
The motion's denied. Ready for decision?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right, I find that with respect to Rule 302, that he's responsible for the charge. First of all, a licensee, as I've said many times before, is responsible for not only the conduct of his employees, but his customers, but also certainly for the conduct of his employees. And I believe totally Detective Greenhill's testimony in this case. Besides the fact, your own witnesses seem to almost support him in the fact that it was clear that he was to shut down, regardless of whom told him to shut down, and he didn't do it. He had questions about it. And then we have Mr. Owens coming and wanting to have the duty officer come, and obviously a lack of cooperation, to me, is very serious. So therefore, the question is punishment to me. And I'm not going to take into consideration the matters of the fights because there's really no testimony, and I don't know what's on the film. And but I will note that the location of 606, 608 West Lexington Street is a problem area in the city of Baltimore, and has been the entire Lexington Market area, all the way up and down that area. Of course, this is 7 blocks west of Baltimore, of Charles Street, so we're a little bit on the edge. But nevertheless, these bars have a responsibility in that area to be extra cautious. And for Mr. Owens to come in and ask for a duty officer and so forth is the height of lack of cooperation. And instead of saying, yes, sir, officer, we're shut down, and is there anything else I can do to cooperate with you? That's not what we're getting here at all. Therefore, it's not to the edge of the area of shutting the bar down, but I do believe it's a fine area. And my fine is $2,000. Commissioners?
I agree with the fine, and just to comment, had the evidence been proffered as to the fight, I think it would have been a different result, and I would just encourage witnesses that have evidence to look at the evidence. It's really, I don't understand why that doesn't happen. Look, you said when you filed your report you were going to ask for the video. You got the video. Oh, gee whiz, look at it. Look at it. See what you see. And then come testify about it. It's really frustrating that that doesn't happen. It seems so easy. So I agree with the fine. Enough of the lecture.
Mr. Jones?
In reference to 2.12, no evidence was given to substantiate that charge. 2.02, 3.02, it seems clear, even the tone in which
is it Cole? Mr. Owens, even the tone in which Mr. Owens testified, it was agitated to me. And Detective Greenhill came before us many times, and his testimonies always seems to measure up. So I said guilty on charge number 2, which is 3.02. This is a first offense for that type of fine in the last 3 years. And I disagree with the $2,000 fine, but I do agree that at least a $500 fine should be rendered for that.
All right, Mr. Privet, you have it. But let me say to you, you better tell your clients, I'm sure you as their lawyer can show them how to handle this a little bit better than this was handled. Be careful, because
$500 fine because that's the maximum on the first offense?
$2,000 fine. $2,000 fine.
This is a first offense, right?
I know that. I know. You're lucky that I didn't close it.
Okay.
On the edge of closing it. Okay.
Actually, Chairman, this is the second offense. Yes, this is the first offense. Actually, there was a rule that was sustained by the board in September of 2012. The license appeared, but no fine was issued. So there was an offense in 2012. Yes, it was said it was sustained a violation of 4.18 in Article 2B.
But shouldn't that be made part of the information?
It was,
for
yeah,
us
that
to
was
see?
that's part of your information. It's on the thing that says, on September 20th, 2012, the licensee appeared, and we didn't, but it was regarding,
I'm still not seeing
charter
it.
and not good standing.
Am I missing this, Judge? Did you see it?
You might be.
Yeah.
It's right.
It's
Yeah.
right there. It's right on that thing.
Yeah, I have it.
Right there.
I have this as a third
Yeah.
violation.
Yeah.
The first one occurring
The
in
first one in 2010, yes, and which was a minor.
Selling
Okay,
alcohol
folks,
to a minor.
thank you.
Okay.
Next question, next case.
Thank you.
Call it.
Yes, sir. It is Michael White and Bruce Richardson, Sobo Taco Inc., trade name Banditos. This is at 1118 South Charles Street. This is a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license. No licensee shall permit a person to consume alcoholic beverages on a licensed premises during the hours when such sales are prohibited. July 12, 2014, police observed a patron drinking after 2 a.m.
All right, come forth. Mr. Previs, you represent?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. For the record, Peter Previs on behalf of the licensee.
All right, you, officer, with respect to July 12th, 2014, did you have occasion to go to 1118 South Charles Street? And what, if anything, did you do, see, and so forth?
I was at that location.
And your name?
Detective
Oh,
Abraham
swear the
Gatto.
witness, I'm sorry. Swear all the witnesses.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, Ed, I adopt my previous question. You're now sworn. Give us your identification and your assignment.
Detective Abraham Gatto, Police Department, Vice Chief.
And the answer to my question, directing your attention to that date and time and place, what did you do, if anything?
I was at the location of 1118 South Charles Street, which is Bandito's liquor establishment club. I'm aware that this location is supposed to be closed at 1 a.m. As I was there, it was beyond 1 a.m. It was actually 5 minutes after. I can look inside the establishment because there's glass windows, the doors I can see through. I observed 5 patrons still inside the bar. They were at a bar counter. They were drinking what appeared to be alcoholic beverages in the location. I spoke to a security guard who was outside, who let me inside the establishment. He advised, I asked him if the night manager was present. He led me to an individual named, it'd be Mr. Michael Stephen, I believe the last name is Lathram, if I'm saying it correctly. He and I spoke. I asked him why there were 5 people still inside the establishment past 1 o'clock. I also asked him, I said, you do realize you're closed at 1? He said, yes, I know. He explained to me that the 5 individuals were either friends of his or friends of the bartender. They were apparently closing out their tab. He stated that the drinks were poured, he swore that the drinks were poured prior to 1 a.m. I can't testify either way, whether they were or they weren't, but I can testify there were people still drinking after 1 a.m. Mr. Latham was very cooperative with me throughout the brief incident.
Who was cooperative?
The night manager, Mr. Latham, who I advised.
How do you spell his last name?
I have it spelled Lathroum.
L-A.
Throum, if that's correctly spelled.
Yes.
And he's the night manager.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and he was cooperative.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, go ahead, sir. And what do you mean by cooperative?
Anything I asked, I mean, he was honest. I mean,
What happened to all these people in there?
well, I had to remove them, had to tell them to leave. When I went into the location, you had people, employees who were working, cleaning up the bar, cleaning up different things, doing their jobs to end the night, but yet there were still 5 people on one end of the bar, still drinking alcohol, still, they were still patrons.
So what happened? What'd you do?
I removed them from the bar, and then, of course, I spoke to Mr. Latham, and we went through what had happened. And I advised him that I was going to write an incident report to this and forward it to the liquor board.
Questions? No questions. Any other witnesses?
It was just me, Your Honor.
Commissioners' witnesses? Questions?
I have one question. You said, maybe it was a slip of the tongue, you said you witnessed someone drinking after 1 a.m. Did you meant to say 2?
They close at 1. They are a LD 008, yes. So I'm aware that they're closed at 1, so I was watching.
All right, now you're on, Mr. Previs.
Thank you. I'm going to call Mr. Latham in a moment. I think Commissioner Jones's confusion is the actual charge
Charge
says
is 2.
reference July 12, 2014, police observed patron with drinks after 2 a.m.
We stipulate it's a Class D, 1 o'clock license. This board knows that from last week. Okay.
All right, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Latham, you've been sworn?
Yes.
State your name and address for the record.
Michael Lathroum, live in 1907, Rencos Way. Lathroum, Lathroum.
Okay, you are the night manager that the detective referred to?
Correct, I'm the general manager,
And
yes.
you were there that night?
I was.
And you basically agree with what he said?
Yes.
Okay, you did wish to clarify a couple of points on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, how many people does the establishment hold?
How many people what?
Does the establishment hold?
Workers, we have 6.
No, what's your capacity?
The capacity's, 197, I believe?
Okay.
164.
All right, and the detective testified there were 5 people at the bar?
Correct.
All right, who was in the premises at 1:05 on this evening?
We had the bartenders that were cleaning up. There's 6 of us bartenders. There's 3 security guards, doormen. Yeah, that would have been it. for employees.
But for these people, bless you, but for these people seated at the bar, everyone was caused to leave the premises before 1 a.m.?
You understand
Did that
the
make
question?
sense? Everybody left,
entirely,
the
I'm
place
sorry.
was cleared out?
Yes, the place was clearing out.
All right,
yes.
now the detective said there were 5 people seated at the bar.
There were.
Who were those
What he
people?
wants to know is, everybody in there was an employee, or were they customers and employees?
There were a handful of customers, yes.
Okay,
Still there.
and out of the 5 people, who's left?
There was
Male, female?
a couple males that were there that were
Okay,
left.
and were they employees?
No,
They were not?
they were not.
Were they friends of somebody?
Yes, they were friends of one of the bartenders.
And they were doing what?
They were finishing up their drinks. Yeah, we had closed out tabs. They were just finishing up their drinks.
And the officer said there were 5 people there. Were there 3 more females?
The 3 females were the bartenders.
Okay.
Yes.
And you acknowledged to the officer that it was after 1?
Yes.
You realize that?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been alcohol awareness certified?
Yes.
Is your alcohol awareness certified current?
I believe so.
Okay, but in any event, you've endeavored to promise to your bosses to retake that class?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you understand that 1 o'clock means 1 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
And you apologize to the officer?
Absolutely.
You apologize to this board?
Yes.
Okay, and you promise it won't happen again?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any questions, commissioners?
None.
Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All evidence is in. The responsibility is certainly admitted with respect to the charge. But, Mr. Previous, I must admit that it's a very refreshing defense that they cooperated, and a couple of men are waiting for 3 female bartenders. Not too hard to understand. In view of the fact that it's the first time before before this board that I have, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And no other previous, and also the fact there was no one hurt or anything. The fine in this case would be $600 plus cost, and the responsibility for the charge. Commissioners?
Your Honor, I would just recommend a $500 fine plus $125 in fee. The $500 fine is, I think, the maximum that we can charge or can levy for a first offense.
I agree.
Is that true?
Yes. 500 is it's 500.
Okay.
Would Your Honor like to take a look at the code? I have it here if it helps you.
The only reason that I know, Your Honor, is because the transgression, we should do a lot more than what the code provides.
All right, 500. Well, in that case, I will actually say I'm going to suspend my own decision now, suspend $250 of the $500 fine. Commissioners, do you want to change or adopt it or disagree?
Oh, I think I'm going to stick with my original
I'm gonna stick with
decision.
you, Commissioner.
Which commissioner?
You.
Me?
You, as the last one who spoke, yes.
I
think that 500 plus 125 is sufficient.
Okay.
Your Honor, would you like to look 16507D?
No, I don't.
Okay.
This is not a new rule.
I've been looking at codes all my life.
Alcohol awareness, he's aware, so.
Thank you very much.
It is what it is.
All right.
500 plus cost.
Until we go down to Annapolis in January and get it tripled.
Thank you.
Thank
care.
you. Best of luck.
All right, call the next case.
Next one is Kenneth Kirby, Foeman Inc., trade name Matt Jib Restaurant, that is at 2101 Maryland Avenue. This is a Class B
Beer, wine, liquor license. This is a violation of Rule 418. No licensee shall commit or allow the commission of any premises of any act contrary to the federal, state, or local law, ordinance, or against the public peace, safety, welfare, and quiet and morals. This is from an October 22nd incident when an inspector observed a live band performing and providing live entertainment without permission. This is a violation of Rule 3.2. Licensees shall operate an establishment in such a manner to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, health, quiet, and welfare of the community. This is also again from that same incident, October 22nd, 2013, where an inspector observed the band playing extremely loud music.
All right. Counsel,
Consulting,
so,
yes.
your name, sir?
Samuel T. Daniels, Jr.,
And you're representing the bar.
yes.
All right. We'll swear all the witnesses.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, we do.
We have here Inspector Martin from the Liquor Board. And come on over to the microphone, Inspector Martin. You've been sworn. And directing your attention to the 22nd of October, 2013. Did you have occasion to go to 210103 Maryland Avenue?
Yes, I did, sir.
And what, if anything, did you see, hear, and do?
I actually have a report that I'm going to read.
Go ahead, sir, ma'am.
Excuse me, we would stipulate to the report unless you want her to read it. We
All right,
don't
it's
disagree.
stipulated that the report is admitted into evidence. And would you tell us what the substance of the report is?
Yes, sir. I was on 311 night duty that evening. I got a 311 call in reference to loud music at the establishment. On my first response, I did observe people outside, a crowd outside, and very loud music in the rear of the building.
Now, are they permitted to have music?
Not at that time, no,
So this license did not carry that right?
that's correct.
Okay, go ahead, and what, if anything else? You heard the loud music, did you go in the bar?
I did go in the bar. I did actually observe the license.
Were people in there?
People were in the front of the bar. The front of the bar is a little separate from the rear of the bar. So when I went into the front of the bar, that's where the original license was displayed. Did check the license. They did not have live entertainment.
Now, did you talk to any type of management or ownership at that time?
At that time, no. I talked to a promoter who was in the rear of the building with the band.
And what, if anything, did you say or do to him?
I did tell the promoter that the music was entirely too loud for the neighborhood, and did request that he turn down the music and actually stop the music because they were not in compliance with the license. He did not cooperate. He refused to do that.
This man, this person you're talking, did not cooperate?
No, he did not.
And in what way did he not cooperate?
He refused to turn the band down or even stop playing. He refused to turn it down, and he refused to stop the band at all.
All right. Now, you mentioned something about the truthfulness of what was on the license. Did you have a conversation about the license? About the liquor license with him?
Yes, I did, but he is a promoter. When I say he really wasn't the licensee or a manager.
All right, but what, if anything, did you say to him and he say to you about that license?
He really didn't respond to the license, only saying that he was a promoter.
Okay.
And that it was.
All right, anything else you want to tell us that should be noted?
Only that when I had to call the police to get the band to stop, okay? At that time, the manager was present at the scene, and he did cooperate. We did have the band stop for the evening.
Now, let me find out what happened first. You called the police to get the band to stop. And at that time, the manager came in before the police came?
No, when the police arrived, it was requested that the manager be on the scene, someone be on the scene, either the licensee or manager.
So then they called for the manager?
Yes.
And he came?
That's correct.
And then the cooperation started?
Yes.
Well, the band was already stopped?
Yes.
All right. Anything else you want to tell us?
Not at this time.
Questions?
Yes. You say it was a 311 complaint. What was the 311 complaint?
The 311 complaint was operating without a license and a live band with no permit.
Okay. It wasn't a noise complaint specifically?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, the noise was your observation.
That's correct.
Did you employ a noise meter?
No, I did not.
Okay, you subjectively determined it to be loud.
Yes, I did.
Okay. When you arrived, I think your report mentioned something about a sign. Did you see a zoning notice sign? Was the sign a zoning notice?
Yes, there was a posting, a public notice for zoning for an application to have live entertainment and dancing at that location, restaurant.
And your report did specify 4.18 and 3.12. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, but your report does not specify, nor was Mr. Kirby an establishment charged with a 3.02 violation, which would be non-cooperation.
3.02 wasn't mentioned, no.
Okay. I think that's about it.
All right, Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple here. When you post a zoning notice or something that you would like to have at that establishment, when can the person who's operating that establishment carry out that request? Is that when you post a notice or after someone ruled on it and it's added to the license by the liquor board?
It's my understanding, and of course it was a zoning posting, not a liquor board posting, that until they have approval from the zoning and then issued approval from the liquor board, that is when they can actually proceed with their live entertainment. Not until then.
Any other questions?
None from me.
Any other testimony?
Well, no, I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
Were you at the January 9th transfer approval hearing to add live entertainment to this license? Liquor board hearing?
I was present here.
What's this, after this? This January? What?
Yes, 2014, yes.
This is after this?
Yes.
What's this got to do with this?
Well, I can get to that.
Well, tell me now.
The matter was brought before the board voluntarily through admission by my client that this incident occurred on 22 October 2013. The board did not see fit at that time to either charge my client or to penalize my client, and the board went forward with approval of the addition of live entertainment to the license. We're not disputing that it happened, absolutely not. We're simply saying that this matter had been before the board, although not charged, just as it had been before zoning on 12 November, and that on both occasions it was voluntarily admitted by my client.
Mr. Daniels, I have no comment on anything the prior board did, but I think you and I both know that it's got absolutely nothing to do with this. So let's see, you have any witnesses?
Yes, but I'd like to submit a timeline if I may.
Certainly.
Okay.
You can submit your own defense. You want this admitted into the evidence?
Yes.
All right, Exhibit 1 for the defense. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, in the timeline, you'll see that on October 1st, 2013, Fomain Incorporated applied its zoning for a use permit revision to add live entertainment. And at this time, I would submit as an exhibit both the top cover, which shows the date of the application, and then underneath is the final approval
You
from
want that
zoning.
Exhibit 2.
Yes.
Go ahead.
On 10/7, this writer sent an email to Mr. David Tanner requesting a cancellation or postponement of the 29 October scheduling for the zoning hearing so that we could accommodate the Charles Village Community Association Land Use Committee, which only met, at least at that point, which met on November 5th. So I will submit that in addition and let Ms. Guida, who will testify, submit some additional stuff then. On 10/15, we contacted CBCA and we scheduled a meeting for 5 November. 10/22 is when the inspector arrived at the 10/22, the sign for zoning was posted on the building. 10/22.
That sign, however, was not a liquor board sign, but
No.
your client's sign.
Well, the zoning board sign, yes.
Zoning board sign?
Yes.
All right.
Indicating that there was a hearing.
Scheduled before the zoning board?
Yes, for November 12th.
Okay, go ahead.
That evening, Inspector Martin responded to, I guess, a telephone complaint, 311 complaint, about live entertainment. On 11/5, my client and I met with Charles Village Community Association, made a presentation, admitted to not only the 10/22 incident, but the fact that my client had wrongfully and by mistake been having live entertainment prior to that point. We then, by the 11th of November, secured a finalized draft of the MOU with Charles Village. On 12 November, we presented that to the zoning board, Charles Village Community Association. I know Ms. Guida testified, maybe Mr. Lenarchik, I don't remember, and zoning approved the application. On 12/3, on or about, we submitted live entertainment request to the liquor license board to be added to the license, and then on January 9th, we attended the liquor board hearing. There was voluntary admission of proper operation prior to and including the 10/22 event, presentation of signed MOU, and additional independent testimony. I even have a copy of, unfortunately, we don't have the full transcript from that hearing where we did discuss the violation of the 22nd and the mistaken behavior. But I do have, and I would submit this as an exhibit if you will accept it, a lift from Community Law Center's Booze News about that particular case, and it does mention.
All right, you want this as exhibit in the case?
Yes, please.
And give us a summary of what this says.
Well, it says that we discussed the behavior of the establishment. It gets into the chairman at the time questioning.
There's one of these publicity or the fact that we don't have any coverage anymore from newspapers, these sort of oddball newspapers.
Well, Your Honor, before you
Well,
say anything else,
yeah.
the writer of Booze News is in the room. So,
You?
No, it's not me. It's an attorney from the Community Law Center. Very reputable, do good work.
So he writes the Booze News.
Well,
she writes the Booze News.
The one that's been sitting there every single meeting.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
I often wondered who. Now I know. Yes. All right. Well, let me say this to you, Mr. Daniels.
Yes.
What has happened before the previous liquor boards is, I'm not going to say a matter of astonishment to me, but it's a matter of total lack of interest, because this liquor board, I believe, is going to carry out what we believe is the correct law as it applies to the city of Baltimore. That's what our responsibility is. And as I've said many times, the right to have a liquor license is not a right. It's a privilege. The liquor licenses are controlled because they control liquor, and they are. You don't even have to have a person complaining about a license. This board has the right to deny a license because it's inappropriate or for any reason it feels that it imperils or is against the interests of the general public of the city of Baltimore. So what the previous liquor board thought about the application for a license in this case, which apparently was in the mind of the owner, has got absolutely nothing to do with this inspector carrying forth properly on a complaint that she received through the city police exchange of 311 and going right out and finding that the licensee is not obeying the law. And that's the only question before the board now. Did he obey the law or did he not? And mitigation, I agree, mitigation with respect to punishment, this would be appropriate, but not as to the responsibility for the charge or not. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the charge, nor am I questioning the inspector. I mean, I have had a professional relationship with Inspector Martin, so there's no question of that.
And you might as well tell everybody that you had a relationship with me on a softball team.
That's
many,
correct.
Many years.
That's correct.
You played on my softball team.
That's correct.
Along with a lot of other people.
It's really,
and I can say you were a good player.
Well, thank you. That we're getting into maybe argument about fundamental fairness. So I can save that.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just proceed? Let me, Ms. Guida, were you sworn in?
No.
Oh, okay. If you don't mind.
No, swear to witness.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good afternoon. Sharon Guida from the Charles Village Civic Association Land Use Committee. I'm the chair. And I'm here to speak in mitigation and to request leniency. Our CVCA Land Use Committee is composed of 3 community associations in addition to Charles Village. One is Charles North Community Association and the other is Old Goucher Community Association. This particular location is kind of within the boundaries of all 3. And so when we learned that it had been operating without permit, with live entertainment, we scheduled a hearing and a meeting with the licensee and our committee immediately, as soon as we could. And so, in mitigation to the fact that they were operating live entertainment without a permit or and without it being on their liquor license, they have since that point met with the community association, and all three community associations who make part of the land use committee signed a memorandum of understanding. Now, I had sent an email, and I'm not sure it made it in time, for you all to have a copy of the timeline of the efforts that this licensee and property owner, not just the licensee, but the property owner, also agreed to certain conditions in exchange for the community's support for their live entertainment license. And those conditions did relate to the noise level, which we had observed was excessive previously, and also loitering and all those other kinds of things that affect the quality of life of the residents who live around the property. And the licensee and property owner agreed to have those conditions on their liquor license, as well as be enforceable against the property owner through the zoning context. So with all those efforts having been made, as a community, we appreciate a licensee who's willing to go to that length to agree. And we've also been following up with the licensee and the manager of the live entertainment portion about making sure they're complying with those provisions. And they've been responsive, and they've made assurances to the community that they are going to strictly comply with those terms and conditions. So with all that said, the community feels comfortable that the offense which occurred prior to all of these arrangements and all of these agreements, that the licensee has learned its lesson, and the property owner has encouraged the licensee to not let this happen again. So
I know I speak on behalf of all the commissioners when I say that we appreciate the fact that you and the other members of the community who have taken the trouble to come down here, not only in speaking in opposition, but in support, and also taking their time to work out these agreements, which occurs and is occurring more and more now, I think, that it's very commendable. Many neighborhoods don't have community associations like this powerful Charles Village Association. It's unfortunate. Doesn't make any difference to this liquor board. You don't have to have people. If it's not the right thing, we're going to know what's right and what's not right, we hope. So I want to thank you. Did you know my daughter, who used to, Tracy Ward, who
yes, of
to
course.
The community from the benefits district?
Yes,
used to work with you very closely.
She was a fantastic first executive director.
Yes, I think she was the first benefits district.
Absolutely. And we also wanted to say that we appreciate the liquor board's and support of the inspections and the inspectors. And we don't want this position that we're taking here to be taken in any way as any general policy of leniency.
No, I've told these inspectors that this board is going to support the hard work that they do, going out both day and night, and dangerous, and not a type clean job where you sit in a nice clean government office and so forth. And this inspector, I've noticed from my short appearance here, is very conscientious, and we're going to continue to support them in their hard work.
And we appreciate
So,
all
do the
of
commissioners have any questions of this witness?
Just one. Since you start talking with the owner of this establishment or the manager, has there been any violations?
We have had some disagreements about the door being open, but they're in the process of taking their equipment out when they're doing that. So we're trying to get them to keep the door closed at night when the music is playing. Other than that, no violations.
Any other questions, Commissioner?
No questions.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to question. You pointed out in item number 1 on your email that earnest efforts were made starting 22 October.
Let's see. Let's see.
This is a bit difficult because certainly you've been a friend. That is a minor error that I only want to correct because it could lead to the impression that their efforts became earnest in motivation to the event that occurred by the inspector, when in fact, and I'll give this to you and then I'll submit it as an exhibit. It's an email to you on the 15th of October about our meeting, and it includes the thread from the 7th of October where we postponed successfully with Mr. Tanner at zoning. So would you then agree that our efforts actually did commence not after or on the day of the investigation, but well prior to that?
Yes, and thank you for showing me this.
Sure.
Yes, that's correct. We actually had begun discussions about the meeting when we were contacted by Mr. Fields.
Did you note, however,
By
that the
Mr.
fact that
Daniels,
when
I'm
this
sorry.
inspector went there, they refused to stop the music?
Yeah, and I think
Did you
that was
note that?
because the manager was, I did not know that until I heard this report. And that was particularly noteworthy to me when I heard that. But when the inspector said that the manager wasn't there. And one of the things we've actually insisted is that the manager be there at all times. If the licensee is not there, that the manager be there.
We must have respect for inspectors from the liquor board when they go in these bars.
Absolutely.
These establishments are responsible for having authorized personnel on the premises at all times who know that they should respect a liquor license inspector. And to me, that's the most serious thing that
And
happened.
I think that's one of the toughest jobs that this board has in changing that mindset that over the past years has built up, that that's acceptable behavior, and it's not. So we support 100% that, but we have an issue with the manager having to be there, so that the manager's there to manage whoever's.
Well, you may not have to have, you know, it costs money. We want these businesses to succeed, because a successful business is a good neighbor. An unsuccessful business is a bad neighbor.
Exactly.
So I'm not in any way requiring certain personnel to be present at all times, but I do think that whoever is present should always have respect for the licensed representatives, our representatives.
Agree.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
No. Closing?
Yeah.
I had occasion to speak not with this promoter, but with one of the general managers after this time, and I impressed upon them that they are absolutely to respect the liquor license inspectors. I also suspected that they were somewhat fearful because there was a mention of we're not part of one part of the facility, not part of the other, and no one was cooperating in that regard. So you had ignorance. It's ignorance that no longer exists and hopefully will not manifest in any way at this establishment ever again under Mr. Kirby's ownership. That being said, again, no question as to the performance of the assessment, observations, and so forth of Inspector Martin. We'd simply ask that given the weight of everything, that there be some degree of mitigation in dealing with an operation that has righted itself and done so understanding the board's desire to correct that which actually had already been corrected. So my point, again, was not about another board as such. It really was about a kind of fundamental fairness that we now are having to deal with something that they did. They accept the responsibility for having done. But it comes at a point where they've actually recognized their mistake, corrected it, and are performing in hopefully an exemplary manner. And should Inspector Martin go out there tonight and they not be performing in that way, I would expect that she would be bringing them before you again. So that's it, Judge. We simply hope that the board weighs all of this and would think kindly towards Mr. Kirby in this operation.
All right, with respect to both violations, 4.18 and 3.12, I find that the licensee is responsible. With respect to punishment, I'm told that the maximum fine is $500. And therefore, I fine him $500 on 4.18. But in view of the arguments with respect to mitigation, with respect to 3.12, my fine is also $500, but to run concurrent, runs at the same time, which means there's one fine of $500 plus costs. How much time do you need to pay it?
Well,
Wait a minute.
I gotta ask that. Then I'm gonna go to you, don't worry. I'm gonna get to you.
I would request a week, and then I think a week would be sufficient.
All right, 500, 1 week. Go ahead, commissioners, your votes?
may I?
Yes.
On 4.18, I rule guilty. Also on 3.12, also guilty. Initially, I was thinking about suspension, but the letter of support from the community has led me to believe that there's a working relationship with this owner of this establishment. So suspension is out. I don't think that way anymore. However, I think there should be a fine for both, $500 per. The inspector clearly identified who she was and requested that certain things be done, and they gave her a hard way to go. And I want the establishments to know that these inspectors represent this agency, and we put a lot of stress on them, sending them out at night and bringing around a whole bunch of folks who might not agree with what they are doing. Respect is demanded, and because of that, I say $500 per charge to be paid in full, along with court charge, any fees that is attached to that fine.
Okay, so I agree that both of the charges are founded. I was not thinking suspension, but I was thinking $500 for the first offense and $1,375 for the second offense, with a hearing fee of $250 for both offenses combined. I will agree with Commissioner Jones's imposition of a penalty of $500 and $500. And the reason, I find it very troubling that there was, a violation which you referred to as a mistake, but it's a violation, it's not a mistake, that it was ongoing, that the day that they post, they think that they can continue to do what they had been doing, which was a violation. The treatment of the inspector is just not acceptable. I find the references to the prior board, laughable is the word that comes to my mind. Disingenuous is probably accurate. This is the second time you've been in front of us, and it's the second time that you've argued fault with the prior board. But when you do that, I think of you as the prior board, or at least part of it. So it's that I find that when I hear it, it does not process well for me. So with that, I agree with Commissioner Jones, 500 plus 500 and the fees.
Therefore, we have a sufficient number of votes for 500 each. All right, how much time do you need? You told me 1 week.
I'd say 1 week.
Okay.
Now, some clarification. Commissioner Moore had said 250.
I did not say 250. I initially said 1,375 for the second offense.
Court costs. You were combining the two. I was under the impression that there was one court cost.
There is $125.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused. Next case.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is Christopher Nwazi, Masuko Sutu, that is Taste International.
Trade name Taste International. This is at 4314-16 Curtis Avenue. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. This is a violation of Rule 4.18. No licensee shall allow the commission on his or her premises, which will be contrary to any federal, state, local statute and law against any public peace, safety, quiet, or morals. This is regarding an incident on May 4th, 2014, where a police officer observed an establishment operating without an expired liquor license. Excuse me.
All right. You're representing yourself, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Swear both witnesses.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth,
I
Yes.
do.
All right, Detective, we'll be glad to hear from you.
On 4 May of this year at 12:15 a.m.,
Give us your name for the record.
Detective L.C. Greenhill, SES Vice.
Go ahead, sir.
Your writer of SES Vice conducted a bar check at Taste International located at 4314 through 16 Curtis Avenue. The Buffalo licensee were not present, but manager Masubai O. Shichu, was present and in full operation control of the premises. Your writer had been to the establishment once
You
before.
okay on that? Is it in your report, the spelling?
The spelling S-H-I-T-T-U.
S-H-I-T-T.
Yeah, how I have it in the report is S-H-I-T-T-U.
Okay, go ahead, sir. So you went in and you saw him and you talked to him and found out he, what?
Basically, I went in once before last year in 2013. The establishment was not open at that time, but the liquor license and permits were in order. On this night, which is May 4th, I observed 20 to 30 patrons inside the establishment watching a Mayweather boxing match on various flat screen TVs throughout the establishment. Your writer advised Mr. C2 that I needed to check his liquor license and permits. While checking the licenses and permits, your writer observed the liquor license had expired as of April 30th, 2014, and the health permit had been expired as of November 30th, 2012. Your writer advised Mr. C2 if he had picked up his new liquor license from the liquor board. Mr. C2 advised your writer that his brother, who happens to be the licensee for Oxygen, located at 10 South Calvert Street, was supposed to take care of that. Mr. C2 then advised your writer his brother was forwarding the acceptance letter stating the new liquor license had been paid for and is ready for pickup at the liquor board. Your writer advised Mr. C2 that it is responsibility of the management and the licensees of a particular establishment to pick up the liquor license and to ensure other permits, i.e. the health permit, trader's license, etc., are valid. At that time, your writer closed the establishment for an expired liquor license and an expired health permit. Furthermore, your writer advised Mr. C2 to respond to the liquor board and the health department himself on Monday, which would have been 5th of May, to ensure all his licenses and permits are paid and ready for pickup. The trader's license was also expired as of April 30th, 2014. But the Department of Licenses gives businesses operating with a trader's license a 30-day grace period for their renewal process from the date of expiration. The premises were left in the control of Mr. C2, report forwarded to the liquor board.
And you have any questions?
No, sir.
You have any questions, Commissioner?
No.
All right, any other evidence?
No.
All right, now, you've been sworn. Give us your name.
My name is Christopher Nweze.
And your last name is spelled N-W-A-E-Z-E.
Yes, sir.
And you are the licensee.
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to tell us anything?
What the inspector said is absolutely what happened.
What's the status now?
The license was picked up 2 days after the inspection. It was ready to be picked up that Friday. I was supposed to pick it up. I had a family emergency. I had to take care of that. Didn't make it back to the board to pick it up that Friday. So this happened on Saturday. So I went on Sunday, or that Monday, first thing in the morning, to pick the license up.
So you got the license?
Yes, sir.
How about the health requirement?
It was also renewed.
And you are in good standing today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioners, questions?
None.
No questions.
Anything else? None? Ready for, you wish to say anything before I reach a decision?
I apologize. It was to not picking the license up that Friday. It was an incident that was beyond my control for family issues. So that's why I couldn't pick it up that particular Friday. It was supposed to be picked up.
And you got it 2 days later?
Yes, sir.
All right. The responsibility for the charge is obvious, and I'd so fine $250 plus costs. Commissioners?
I concur with you.
I agree.
All right, sir, how much time do you need to pay $250?
I can pay you tomorrow.
Today?
Yes, I didn't bring my checkbook today, so
All
I
right,
can pay
good.
today.
Thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, sir.
All right, call the next case.
This is Brian Aquavella, SF Life Inc.
Now, is this the one we're going to dismiss?
Yes, sir. Trade name Blue Agave Restaurant. This is at 1032 Light Street. This is a violation of Rule 311. I'm asking for the board to dismiss these charges because I believe that the issue has been remedied by the licensee. We have photos, but I can ask for you to dismiss this.
This is a confused case we've had here before with respect to responsibility for the trash coming from several locations. Is that right?
That is correct.
Do you have any objection to the recommendations of our executive secretary to dismiss this case?
No doubt.
Mr. Charles, do you have any objection?
I support it, Judge.
All right.
I can clarify a little bit further that the incident was, we received a complaint regarding this incident in February of 2014, and there were several boxes that were located and debris located behind the establishment. Inspector Martin did go out, inspect, take photos, but when she took photos of some of the boxes, they were from another establishment, which is next door, and I believe it's called Key Tech. Since then, the licensee has actually put up a barrier to beautify the area as far as a planter that obstructs the view of the garbage. And Key Tech has also installed a fence that also helps to mitigate the visual issues with the garbage. So all those things had been taken care of, and this matter has come on a couple different liquor board agendas, but I do feel that they have taken care of the issue, and I would like to have it dismissed.
Only one comment. This was recycle, not garbage.
Recycle. What'd you say?
Recycle.
Well, it's my jurisdiction to grant or do not grant the motion to dismiss. I'm going to listen to my commissioners and see if they have any objection.
I just wanted to clarify. My understanding is that we're dismissing not because there's been abatement of the problem, but rather it was determined that the recycling or the trash, whatever, is not the responsibility of the licensee. And I think that's really important that we make clear. It's not trash or recycling that is the responsibility of this licensee.
That is correct. And the complaint had came in regarding our licensee, but the actual trash belonged to another business owner, which is not a licensed premises.
All right.
Motion granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, call the next case.
It's Jin Suk Kim and Kal Jam Kim and Kim Nan Kim, Jin Suk Kim, Inc., Ebony Town Store. This is at 1801 West North Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Violation of Rule 401, no licensee shall furnish alcoholic beverages to any person under 21 years of age or to any person with the knowledge that such person is purchasing and acquiring beverages for consumption by a person under 21 years of age. This is regarding a January 31st, 2014 alcohol sold to an underage police cadet.
All right, you representing yourself, sir? You represent yourself? Yes. You, your own representative? Yes. All right, swear all witnesses.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
All right, state your name.
Detective L.C. Greenhill, SES Vice.
Detective Greenhill, because I have to act as a prosecutor in these cases, as we have done, directing your attention to January 31st, 2014. Did you have occasion to go to 1801 West North Avenue?
Yes, sir.
And what, if anything, did you see and do?
On that date at 11:20 p.m., your writer, Detective L.C. Greenhill, along with members of SES Vice Enforcement, conducted an underage alcohol investigation at Ebony Town Store, located 1801 West North Avenue. Utilizing Baltimore City Police Cadet Gregory L. McCoy III, with a date of birth of 21 September 1993, same entered the location and purchased a 375 milliliter of Paul Masson brandy from employee Jin Suk Kim, who was working behind the counter of the establishment. Cadet McCoy paid for the alcohol that was priced at $6.45 using a departmental $20 bill and received change. Cadet McCoy then left the establishment with the purchased alcohol in hand. At no time did employee Mr. Kim ask Cadet McCoy for proof of age. Furthermore, your writer, along with members of Vice, observed Cadet McCoy enter Ebony Town Store located 1801 West North Avenue with nothing in his hands, and Cadet McCoy was observed by detectives exit the establishment with the purchased alcoholic beverage, which was now in his hands. Moments later, members of Vice entered the location of 1801 West North Avenue, known as Ebony Town Store, and advised Mr. Jin Suk Kim that he just sold alcohol to Cadet McCoy, who was under the age of 21. As your writer proceeded to retrieve the $20 bill, the said currency was not in the register. Your writer asked Cadet McCoy, who accepted the $20 bill, which he replied, Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim, who was reluctant answering any questions from myself as well as Sergeant Elisha, allowed us to check all the $20 bills inside of the register. As a result of the check of all the $20 bills inside the register, the said departmental bill in question was not produced. Your writer, who had a photocopy of the $20 bill being used for the investigation, showed Mr. Kim the copy with the serial number and asked him where did he put the bill in question. Mr. Kim replied stating he did not have the bill and furthermore did not know where it was. With Mr. Kim's permission, he allowed us to check his personal property for the said currency, which yielded negative results of locating the said departmental $20 bill. At that time, your writer noticed a blue mat next to the register with U.S. currency underneath. As your writer lifted the mat exposing various denominations of U.S. currency, your writer observed that said departmental $20 bill used for the investigations. Detectives asked Mr. Kim why the said currency was underneath the mat. Mr. Kim refused to answer any further questions at that time, thus refusing to cooperate. Excuse me. Your writer recovered the departmental $20 bill and returned change back to Mr. Kim. Cadet McCoy was photographed with the purchased alcoholic beverage. The alcohol was then returned back to the establishment. At that time, the investigation was concluded and the establishment was returned back to the operational controller, Mr. Kim. Report forwarded to the liquor board.
You want to ask him any questions?
No. At the time.
Ask him.
Yeah.
You have to, no. Commissioners, questions?
You know his name, though, what's your name, sir?
Kim.
Is it J-I-N-S-U-K-K-I-M?
Yes, sir.
That's your name. All right. Now, commissioners, any questions of the officers?
None.
All right, call your next witness.
Cadet McCoy.
State your name, please.
Cadet Gregory McCoy, sir.
All right, Mr. McCoy, you were 20 at this time?
Yes, sir.
And tell us what happened on that date, the 31st of January.
On the
at location 1801 West North Avenue.
Okay, on that date, I went into the establishment, the date being January 31st, 2012, at 11:30 or 11:20 p.m. And I went in and purchased a pint of Palmasol brandy for $6.45 with the departmental bill, $20 bill. And it's the same as the last one. I just went in, asked for what I wanted. He went and got it, and I made the transaction. And then that's when I walked out of the establishment and notified.
You gave him the $20 bill?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay. And then you walked out and what?
I walked out, notified the detectives. Then they came in and proceeded with the proper protocol.
No, don't say that. Just tell us what happened.
They came in. We all went back in. Detective Greenhill notified Mr. Kim that he sold to an underage minor, which was myself, and I was 20 at the age and still is 20 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 20, sir.
When's your birthday?
September the 21st, sir.
Getting close.
Getting close.
You won't be able to use you anymore.
No, sir. But we went in, he conducted their search for the $20 bill because it wasn't in the register at the time. And as it stated in the report that it was hidden under the blue mat, which we found that that's pretty much what I can recall.
All right, any questions, commissioners?
No.
Any questions, sir? Do you want to ask him? All right. Any other witnesses? Come over, sir. State your name, please.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioner. My name is Dr. Marvin Cheatham. I'm president of the Neighborhood Association, Matthew A. Henson Neighborhood Association, CHEATHAM. First name Marvin, lifelong resident of Baltimore City, homeowner, and as I indicated, president of the Neighborhood Association. This may be a little bit different, but our association wanted to at least share with this distinguished commission a suggestion that we have in dealing with issues like this, because our community is experiencing a number of problems with a number of stores, especially bars.
And what is the name of your association?
Matthew A. Henson Neighborhood Association. Been in existence, I would say, since '63.
And what area do you represent?
We represent, our boundaries are Pressman Street on the south, Fulton on the east, west side of North Avenue on the north, and Ruxton on the west. We encompass a little over 1,000 businesses, homes, and churches in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Our real concern and our suggestion for this board, if this business is in fact found guilty, is to suggest to businesses like this that violate this part of the rule, that they develop, at least suggest to them that they develop a relationship with the community. We have attempted with no success in getting many of our business, many of which, and I'm a civil rights leader, so it's not discriminatory, but many of which are Korean. We've asked the mayor's office to help us in this regard to develop a relationship that when we find a business has in fact violated this rule, that the business be suggested to work with the community, to possibly attend our meetings, to understand the impact that what they do has on our community, especially our children. Yes, this officer was the one who was violated, but we contend this is happening throughout our neighborhood. We feel that the businesses need to understand that them selling to minors affects our community. And the best way we can work collectively is both the community and the business work to try to deal with this problem. So we would ask, if this business is in fact found guilty of this rule, that it be suggested to them, because we have delivered to every business in our neighborhood, 17 of which are Korean. All 17 have not responded. We've asked them to join us, to come to our meetings, to let us share with them the impact that they do, things that they do, how it affects our community. So we want this business to join with us, and we think a part of their punishment should be considered that they work with the community, not against it.
Let me say, to Mr. Shum, that not with respect to this business, but I have instructed my executive secretary to keep a private, secret list of complaints about bars, which would result in a liquor license inspector to go out on that complaint. In other words, if your community finds that there's some problem, call this Hedgepath right here, and nobody's going to know who put the complaint in, except that an inspector is going to be sent out on the complaint. Because we've got to get away from just routinely going in and out of these places, which we don't have enough inspectors to inspect 1,500 bars with any type of frequency. So therefore, we rely upon people like you to point out the problem. Don't be bashful. And I thank you for coming in.
Thank you for hearing me.
All right, now, any questions? You want to testify, sir? Do you know what I mean by testify? Do you understand English?
No, sir.
Does he understand English? You understand English? Nobody. This is very difficult. Do you understand what's going on?
He talking about?
You're up here for selling to him.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yes.
But you're also, there's an indication you hid the $20 bill. Did you do that?
At that time, the legislator changed shop.
Mm-hmm.
So I exchanged this 210 and 120. The exchange the working money, make working money. That's all.
All right, commissioners have any questions?
No, sir.
No questions.
All right. Now, I find that with respect to responsibility here, that you are responsible for selling alcohol to a minor without proper identification of the age. And and I understand the maximum fine is $500. It's $500 plus costs, which is $125. How much time do you need? How much time do you need to pay it? Fine.
Oh, one time, sir.
1 month?
Yeah. No.
Today?
Yes.
All right. $500 plus the cost. And you, 150, 125. Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. You're excused, officers. Hmm?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree with
Didn't
the
I get the
chairman.
vote?
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
did? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't recall voting.
All right, what's the commissioner's vote?
I agree.
I agree.
All right, and I believe that concludes our docket.
Yes, it does, sir.
That's it.
All right, thank you very much. We're in recess.